Sup guys, Bjorn here. Today's just gonna be a short little TORGHAST guide for you guys. How to get the maximum amount of points in the new layers, right? How to unlock 4 gems, how to unlock the adamant vaults later on, and also just how to get the maximum amounts of points possible for maybe achievements or just to brag a little bit to your friends. Before we get into the guide though, make sure you like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you want more 9.1 content. It's gonna be coming out on a regular basis. Also, don't forget to comment if you have any questions or just want to shout me out or flame me for something or whatever you want to say. Hit me up in the comments and I'll respond to it. So let's get right into the guide. Well, there has been a new scoring system introduced in 9.1 to TORGHAST. It does depend on a lot of different factors, and it's ultimately going to show up in a rating from 1 to 5 gems, right? You need 4 gems to unlock the next layer. Week by week, so this week is going to be layer 9, and you need to 4 gem layer 9 to unlock layer 10 next week, and then it just goes on and on until layer 12, right? It is obviously going to be easier in some classes than others, and don't forget there's also a new talent system for TORGHAST, so if you're struggling early on, the more talents you're going to get, the easier it's going to be, kind of like the visions, although that rings a horrible bell, right? And this quick tip as well, guys, don't forget they actually made it so you can farm Soul Ash from like the 9.0 Soul Ash, right? For the Legos, you can farm that permanently in TORGHAST if you want to, even at the lower layers. So if you have like a shit geared alt that wants some Soul Ash, you can just run like layer 4, layer 5, layer 6 over and over again, and you will just get infinite amounts of Soul Ash from there, however long you want to do it. I think it's about like 150, 200 Soul Ash per run, so it isn't that great, isn't very efficient at all. Although if you just do layer 9, you'll get like a K Soul Ash per wing, so that's pretty good. Okay, so touching on how to actually get the maximum amounts of points possible, right? Well, we have these 5 different gem levels, and they're at 40, 80, 120, 160, and 200 points, right? So 40 point intervals, and if you get to that 200 mark, you're gonna get a 5 gem or a flawless run. So in terms of what the points actually come from, completion is definitely king here. In the PTR, it looked like time was gonna measure up pretty well to completion, but right now, completion is basically the one thing you should prioritize over everything else. You should clear every single floor, like completely clean, right? Everything that can be killed, everything that can be saved, quests, any like soul phylacteries or whatever the fuck they're called, the little urns, you destroy all of them, you do all the quests, you save all of those souls, everything like that you need to do on every single floor. So that can be a little boring in my opinion. It's probably the worst thing about the new TORGHAST by far. And if you do kill everything on every single floor, you're going to be able to earn 100 points from completion, right, in total. So that's really good. That's half of the points already from just completing everything. Then we have time, which is kind of bad. You can earn up to 50 extra points with time, so it's definitely still like worth trying for. But if you're at par for the, like every single floor will have a par time, and if you're on par like throughout the entire TORGHAST layer, then you can earn 30 points, and then you can earn like up to 20 more points depending on how far under that par timer you are. And if you're obviously above the par timer, if you're going slow, then you can drop those 30 points down to 0. So it's possible to also earn like 0 extra points for time. Then we have this new mechanic called Empowered. Empowered is basically just a fill the bar thing, where if you complete things, if you kill things, it's gonna fill up, and then you get an extra action button. You can press that extra action button to get a haste buff, leech buff, and you're also gonna earn more points. Actually, you're gonna earn double the points while this empowered thing is active. So a huge thing, or a big thing about min-maxing TORGHAST right now is just to pop that empowered thing when you're completing as much of the floor as possible. So in some cases that might be like rounding up a big AoE, like tons of mobs, and just fuck him and popping empowered when you're killing all those things, probably gonna earn you a lot of extra points. But you could also do it like as you complete a quest, or if you're saving a ton of those souls, you know, or if you're like destroying a ton of urns, anything like that will earn you more points if you're empowered. So make sure you save your empowered thing for like when you're doing the most amount of things possible, basically. And then there's going to be a ton of mini achievements that earns you extra points, and we're going to go into these in just a second here. But first, deaths will actually lose you 20 points. And there's no like Terra Gru or death counter, or you're not going to get kicked out anymore, but every single death loses you 20 points, which is a huge deal if you're trying to get to 200, right? So not dying is extremely important. And that's also why I would recommend picking up the vessel from Venari. There's a thing you can buy from her that basically makes it so that your first deaths in Torghast won't count towards you, and that works right now as well. It will remove the point loss. And the same goes for there's a talent in the new Torghast talent tree as well. The Torghast talent tree is at the rune cover, by the way, if you guys are wondering. Okay, so when it comes to these extra mini achievements that are going to earn you extra points, right? There's a ton of them, and they're actually, some of them are quite fun, some of them are quite annoying, but we'll just go through all of them here. It's probably pretty unlikely that you'll get every single one of them in one run, but if you're like close to completing one of them, it can be really worth just having all of them in your head, thinking about them, right, as you're doing Torghast. The first one is going to be Annihilator. You just need to kill the boss in under 20 seconds, right? And there's another one of these as well that just, floor 5 boss killed in under 40 seconds, Executioner. Both of these are basically just nuke the boss. Then we have Collector, collect at least 30 anima powers. Can be doable probably, but you'll see some of these are kind of counteracting this one as well. Defeat 2 elites within 10 seconds of each other. This is one that's probably doable every single time, right? You should definitely get 2 elites together, get them down, and just kill them in 10 seconds of each other. One-time thing, pretty easy to do. No duplicate anima powers. This might be rough, right? There's a ton of duplicate anima powers, so if there's like one anima power specifically that makes your class really good, then foregoing Highlander just to pick up that broken anima power and get multiple stacks of it is probably way better. But if you're like confident that you can complete it with the anima powers you have and you don't have any duplicate ones, for sure not picking up any more duplicate ones on the later floors is gonna reward you another 15 points, which is obviously really big. Defeat the floor 5 boss with at least 500 Phantasma remaining. This is also very easy, right? But again, it kind of contradicts some of the other ones. Collect at least 30 anima powers, right? If you're if you're saving all your Phantasma, then you can't buy the powers. Kind of a little weird there. Hunter, no elite enemies reached 4 stacks of unnatural power. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't even know what this means. I'm assuming there's some kind of buff that the elite enemies get when they're living for longer. Maybe it's something they cast, I have no idea. But I'm guessing this just means fucking kill the elite enemies quickly, I guess. No epic anima powers, again similar to the Highlander one. If your class really depends on an epic anima power to clear Torghast, maybe you should just forgo this pauper achievement here. But I mean, some of the epic ones are pretty bad anyway, so it might not be that big of a deal. 90% of Ashen Phylactery is destroyed. This is also really easy since you're going for that 100% completion every time, right? Killing 90% of the Ashen Phylactery should be doable every single time. Open treasure chests. Collect at least 5 Obluron armaments of the same type. This is another one that kind of contradicts some other ones, but at the same time, if you're getting like 3, you can get the 3 stack of Obluron armaments from some rares, and then you maybe pick up another one, you're suddenly at 4 Obluron armaments of the same type. Then just looking for that last one is gonna award you another 10 points, right? Rescuer, Assister, Denizen, Torghast. This is just if you have those quests, pretty easy to get as well. Rob the Broker. Now this one is interesting. You need to pick up the Ravenous Anima Cell from the broker on floor 3, right? She sells it for 250 Phantasma, and then you can use that on the broker herself to get 400 Phantasma, and that will award you another 5 points. Obviously do that after you've bought all of your other anima powers from her, right? All Soul Remnants read, again, another thing of those where if you're going for 100% completion anyway, then this one should be done. But also, I mean, sometimes you're just gonna miss some fucking soul somewhere. I do it all the time. And the last one, Trap Master, no trap damage taken. This one is pretty like. And the last one, Trap Master, no trap damage taken. Can be a little challenging for sure, but should be very doable if you're just careful. The big thing is I found is just to remember that this thing exists, right? I run into traps all the time because I'm just tanky. But yeah, try to not take any trap damage. And if you can get like half of these, you're gonna be like up on a flawless run instantly if you just like if you have 100% completion on the Torghast player. So it really isn't that hard to get 200 points or a flawless run, even if you are a little bit of a more subpar Torghast class. Then there are those really busted Torghast classes, mostly the tanks, right, that are just gonna zoom through this and probably get upwards of about like 250, even more points than that maybe. And that is pretty crazy. And if you can't reach that level, don't be pissed, right? It doesn't really matter that much. Just be aware of these mini challenges here. Try to complete as many as you can, and maybe even make like a list, or just have this video open on another monitor while you're doing Torghast so you can see this, or just go to this fucking Wowhead page. I'll link it in the description to the video. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.